Hello, Straight Talk audience. This is AI Gonzalo Lira, and this is Straight Talk, Cyber Cafe Edition.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? Welcome to another edition of Straight Talk with Professor Red Pill. I've got Swend and the Shadowlands here, the Shadowbands, whatever it's called. He's here. Say hello, Swend.
Hello, everyone. It's been a while since we've done one of these. I hope that you guys are all doing all right. Today, we're going to be having a interesting talk about certain kind of people that like to do certain kind of things to get money.
Yep. One of those things, man. Art of the grift, and that's the thing that I'm starting to realize with the women's. They seem to be really good at it, and there's a particular individual that we were talking about in the green room before we started, and that was Candace Owens.
Yeah.
She's doing some grifting activity right now. So apparently this is all like public knowledge now, but Nick Fuentes and her did a podcast together, and apparently she was like asking for ungodly amounts of money and different stuff that she was trying to grift on. She basically was like, hey, I want to put the podcast behind a paywall on my website, and I don't want you to put on your website and some stuff like that. And he was just like, what the fuck, dude? He's like, all right, let's do it, whatever. And he was on there, kind of like beta bitching about it and sort of thing. But man, it is what it is. I understand. But anyway, so who are we talking about? Little Miss Piggy?
Mrs. Piggy. Mrs. Piggy. She has been going all around the United States talking about her husband that just died a few months ago. And apparently, she said she was 8 weeks pregnant a few weeks ago from Charlie Kirk.
8
However,
weeks. Okay.
Yeah, she said that 10 weeks after he died, so it's kind of weird.
Okay, so she said like 10 weeks after he died that she's pregnant. 8 months, she says. How many months?
No. That she's pregnant for 8 weeks, like 8 weeks pregnant.
He died 10 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's not his kid.
Well, she says it is.
I'm not a math guy. I don't teach math or math. I'm not a math major or anything. But 10. Hold on, 1 second. Give me a second here. I'm gonna pull this up. This is interesting. Let me get the old calculator out. So we've got 1 second. So we've got. So he died 10 weeks ago, and we're gonna do minus. You said 8 weeks pregnant, right?
Yeah.
So what? 2 weeks. So 2 weeks, 8 weeks. So the fuck? How'd she get pregnant with a dead man?
I don't know, man. Like, I don't know what they did, or maybe in the autopsy they like opened his balls or something. I'm not sure, dude. I don't have any fucking clue.
Maybe it's maybe she had his sperm on tap or something.
Yeah, it's a possibility. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, it's possible.
Whew. I guess time will tell. Maybe it's Trump's got a legitimate child, one of many thousands he probably has.
People were saying it was Vance's, but who knows?
Who?
JD Vance.
Interesting. Let me see. We've got JD Vance here in the studio. Hold on, let me bring him up.
People are saying that he's going to divorce his wife because the U.S. government has given up on Indians.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's JD Vance. He's in the studio. So hello, JD Vance. How you doing, brother? uh, well, what do they call it when two like I guess she's a slam pig. So when a hog and a slam pig get together, what does that kind of create? Like is it a porky? Porky, I guess. Not an orgy, but a porky. I'm coming up with a new lexicon today.
It's interesting that you mentioned that her appearance has changed in the past 2 months a lot. Something's going on with her face, dude. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but her face looks more, I don't know, scary, weird, tenebris. I don't know what the word is to describe it, but she's
Let's
changed.
bring her up. That's interesting. Yeah, I've got her picture here coming up. 1 second. Yeah, this is not let's see her appearance real quick. Oh, here it is. I got it. We'll present it. Wow, look at that. That's insane, dude. Let's get some audio on that.
People will say in a lifetime. And I want to read a few that have captured the most attention, especially on the political left, okay?
Yeah.
Some gun deaths were, quote, unfortunately worth it to preserve the Second Amendment, he said. Acknowledging that he wishes he didn't feel this way, he said, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. He said the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was a mistake. Now, I realize that all of those quotes come from longer conversations that he had on his show.
Correct.
But he did say those things.
Mm-hmm.
And Charlie is being memorialized by many people as a person who promoted civil discourse, as a person who said, come to the front of the line, let's have a civil conversation.
Mm-hmm.
How do you square that with the statements I just read?
I would love for everyone to be able to watch the full and entire clip of what he said. Charlie didn't care what skin color you were. He didn't care what religion you were. He loved excellence. He loved knowing that people, his favorite word was earn. He loved knowing that people worked hard to earn what they got. He worked so hard to build Turning Point USA. The first statement you meant about guns and shooting, I have no idea the context of that, and I have no idea that whole, there's a lot more there than just that one little sentence. My husband is not to be deteriorated to 2 sentences. Mm-hmm. He's not. He is a thought leader, and he was brilliant of a man. So that's fine if you want to take words out of his mouth or out of context without the whole thing in perspective. But that's the problem.
One of the things that has happened.
It's more of her facial expressions that have changed. She has a certain look that she gives throughout the interview. It's a
I mean, like the fucking thousand cock stare.
Her eyes are like wide open, and her cheeks are like showing anger or something. Yeah.
It's called a demonic look, demonic possession.
I wasn't gonna say that, but I was thinking about that.
I mean, it was kind of mentioned, like if you follow a lot of Twitter stuff, like it was mentioned on there quite a bit. There's some that actually they dubbed her facial features with what is it called? They put her face, like the video that we just saw. They put that, and then every time that she did the weird stare, like she did, they basically like played creepy music, and it was actually kind of creepy, dude. Like seriously creepy.
Yeah. she had a book. I think we were talking about that book that was posted on the group a few weeks ago, and it was called Stop Something Something and then God. But the something something was like so small that it read from a way it read like Stop God. It was like so weird.
Let's look it up.
I'll try to look it up. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've got the book right here. I'll show it real quick. Hold on, let me present. And I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
See if you can find the actual picture where it's in there. But yeah, that's basically the context right there. It says stop in the name of God. And
Yeah.
when you shoot it, yeah, you could see here in this picture in the sky, it just says stop God. It just was poorly the publisher
Or it
didn't do.
was
Yeah.
or it was intentional. Who knows?
I mean,
But
you're looking at this one. If you guys can see it, you can see that it says "Stop God." Like it's all blurred out. The only thing you see is "Stop God" with a handprint.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you could see it like that does not look good at all. That you guys can see right now. Holy shit! That's not good. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know. It's like I said, the podcast is Are the Grift, and okay, yeah. Here, let's pull that one up. Let me pull it up now.
No, somebody edited it and they put Yahweh in there, but the look, it's interesting.
Yeah, let me see if I'll pull it up. Let me see. Give me a few seconds. There's Telegram. Yeah, you guys can see it right there. And let me stop my banner so you can see. Stop Yahweh. But you can see in the background here. You can see in the background where it just says "Stop God." It's all blurred out. The print. It just was not done. They either they weren't thinking or it was completely insanely like weird, like just weird. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's messed up. I've got
So
another one here.
she was writing this book like before or after Charlie Kirk's death?
Uh-huh.
No idea.
It was probably in the works. Let's go ahead and pull this one up. I think this is a good one. I got this one that you presented. 1 second. Let me. Ah, let me see if I can get it up. Okay. For some reason, it doesn't. With my Telegram, it like does weird stuff.
Yes, it's better to present it using like the image app of the computer. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get it. We'll get it set up. 1 second. Let me do split screen. That's going to be the best way to bring it up. Cool. Can you hear it when I present this to you? Let me see if I got it right. Oh, sure, audio. There we go. We'll put it in. All right, cool. Let's play it.
I can't see. I just see black. I just see like a screen that says photo 1 or photo 2, and
Yeah.
it's like black.
Yeah, I've got that same situation. I don't know. Here it is. Okay, here we go. Telegram.
Oh, I remember you used to solve this by like downloading the video and playing it from the player.
Yeah, it's all good. No, it's not important. Anyway, so
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of messed up. But yeah, I mean that's it. That's the Art of the Grift. I mean, there's not really much to say on it. It's just interesting that like she's 8 weeks, 10 weeks pregnant, like 8 weeks pregnant, where her husband had died 8 weeks or 10 weeks ago. So I mean That's a weird anomaly. And
Do you think that's a normal widow behavior?
no, it's not. No, it's not. That doesn't make any sense unless like they conceived like right at the time that he had died. It just seems like she's a grifting slam pig, and that as soon as he died, she just went buck wild on banging whatever she can get her hooves on. You know what I mean? And I mean, it's common behavior with a lot of these tread wives, you know, because we know reality is the tread wives basically are they're fake hoes that basically find Jesus or like, you know, find Christianity and then they become born again virgins. And I mean, she was a model before, right? Like what do they call them? Beauty queen.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
For
those
Trump,
are like
yeah.
it's just there's too much convenience. That is what it is. Yeah, I mean, beauty queens, bro. Come on, man. It's like a hairstylist. Like the last chick I just dated, like just straight up hoe, man. Like if you date a chick that's a hairstyle, like these are the professions to watch out for, guys. Hairstylist, model, influencer, beauty queen. Like any chick that has those titles and any of her CV or like Facebook, like that's just red flags, dude, just off the bat. So, and you know, Charlie Kirk was the most attractive looking guy, dude. So, especially when he smiles, you know, I mean, the teeth, like it just doesn't make sense. Like you can see the gum lines and everything. He just was not a very attractive guy. He obviously probably was a plant, if anything. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, I don't want to talk about a dead guy, but I mean, you know what I mean?
Well, it's hard to say if he was a plant or if he actually believed in it, because he actually did sound like extremely convincing to be a plant. Sounded like he really believed in everything that he was saying.
He probably did. I mean, yeah, I mean, like I said, when it first happened, we actually just finished a podcast. I was with we did a live report, and I was with Mad Max. And Mad Max, like we just finished the podcast, not even like a few minutes, and like he's like, "Hey, dude, like Charlie Kirk just died." I'm like, "Who the hell is this?" Because I never followed the guy. I didn't know who it was. I did no clue. That's why I didn't even cover it, because it's like I don't like covering influencers or people or anybody that I don't normally follow on YouTube or like know about. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to do any follow up with that, dude. It's just I don't want to touch that. Even the botched assassination attempt with Trump during the campaign, I was like, I don't want to touch that, dude. It's I don't give a shit. Like, I do not want to get into the conspiracy or any of that stuff. Like, there's enough influencers covering it, and they got their own 2 cents. But you know, with Charlie Kirk, I was like, as soon as it happened, I was like, dude, that's Mossad hit. That's a Mossad hit, dude. 100%. That was. I told him, I was like, dude, the platform was obviously that was a that wasn't even AR-15. That was like a military grade 30-06. Like that had some power, dude. That round had some power, and that wasn't an AR-15 or anything. That was a precise hit. Whoever made that shot is an expert sniper. Just gonna say it. And that's what I was like, dude, that looks Mossad, Special Forces, somebody fucking knew what they were doing with that. And sure enough, we got the fall guy and the conspiracy that came.
And he's a tranny. After. Like he had a boyfriend who was a tranny, like the fall guy. And it's like this like leftist guy. Just so now the leftists killed Charlie Kirk. Yeah, the enemies of Trump killed him. Blah, blah, blah. And then like this Candace Owens woman, like apparently she's now gone back on her word. She now believes that like Charlie Kirk like was assassinated by the guy or whatever. Like she just like went back to the official narrative. She was saying it was Messiah, it was Jesus. Now
probably because like, her base was too supportive of the narrative. And she just thought that she can grift. Obviously, that's what the podcast is today. Honestly, is via the grift. We're not on YouTube, by the way. This is so we're not demonetized. But those that are following us on Rumble, locals, and what the hell are we on Twitch? Thanks, guys. I see you guys. I see my followers on there right now. You guys are watching. But thanks for joining us. And remember, like, subscribe, comment, share with friends. But yeah, like it is what it is. It's Are the Grift. And dude, I mean, like I said, I called it. I don't think I don't really like our Grover boy, Nick Fuentes. I don't really like him, and not like I just not saying that I don't like him, like in like a very bad or hateful way. It's just he's a young kid. He's I talked about this in the previous podcast with Mad Max when he was on Tucker Carlson. I respect Tucker Carlson. I think he's a good anchor. I think he's pretty genuine. There's nothing to tell me that he's not genuine. There's nothing to tell me that he's compromised or planned of any way. He's a pretty solid guy. It seems like. I think he really like the thing is about Tucker Carlson. I don't want to make this about Tucker Carlson, but basically he's self-funded. So the thing is, Gonzalo Lira is, like I said, we were part of the Gonzalo Lira Legacy Group. He's been on the podcast. We follow him. We knew him. He once said that basically social, like mainstream media or media in general, news media journalism is done. It's fake and gay, as we call it. And he broke it down. He said basically the situation with news media, and this is Candace Owens, by the way. This is Fox News that basically Slam Pig is like on a book tour with, and Tucker Carlson. And he basically said that the way journalism works, and I know this for a fact because I studied journalism, studied English undergrad. I was going to be a journalist, or at least work. I ended up working in English anyway. I teach English and prose and writing. So, and I do know a lot of journalists, by the way, a lot of writers, people I studied with and whatnot. Even people I work with professionally right now are journalists. But it's one of those things where the news media or media in general, unless you're self-funded, like Gerald Celente, who I'm I'm friends with, or at least like I have professional contacts with, he's self-funded, so he doesn't worry about losing advertisers or anything like that. He's mostly content produced. What is the word we're looking for? Subscriber based funding. So he's not worried about that, but when you get into like Wall Street Journal, New York Times, New York Slimes, or any of these major publications, and I do know journalists that do write up occasionally for a lot of these publications, it's all there broken down perfectly. He said, look, these journalists are coming from, NYU, they're coming from like, George Washington University, from Yale, from Harvard, from Stanford, from schools he went to, Dartmouth and Brown and all these Ivy Leagues. And, he's like, yeah, they have huge student loans. Cause like, I remember I fortunately went to a public Ivy League, but mine was a state school, and they waived my tuition and the cost was alleviated. So I didn't really take any loans. My education was free. But unfortunately, some of these other individuals that study at these top schools, they have to, unless they paid their way through school or their parents paid for them to go to school, they have to take student loans, exorbitant amounts, because Ivy League schools are expensive. They're like it's like $100,000 a year to go to school, an Ivy League almost now. I mean, that's what it costs to attend, for books, for living expenses, things of that nature. So unless you fund that yourself, or you're on scholarship, or your parents fund it, you come out with an absorbent amount of debt. 100,000, 200,000, whatever. And in order to pay that off, you take a job at a publication, and they pay your student loan. They give you money. You pay that tuition off, or that loan off. And if there's an article or there's a story that you're chasing, and the publisher does not want to publish it, the newspaper doesn't want to publish it, they're like, no, our sponsors, our advertisers will not allow this. This is the editor comes to you and they're like, this is the story you should publish. This is the story that you need to work on. Don't worry about this. Forget about it. Right. And, that's basically media. So it's all grift. It's all basically like, if you have to basically produce the journalism that your editor, that your publisher wants you to produce. It's goy slop at its finest.
There's been entire tapes. There's been entire documentaries that have been filmed for like BBC or even like in French media, and they were ready to publish them, but they were called off at the last minute by the editorial office, and they were about child exploitation rings involving certain like kind of local elites, and they just pulled it off. But like somebody leaked them. Somebody leaked the tapes from the TV station.
They always do. They always do. And there was a journalist that he wrote about. I believe he wrote about the stuff that just came out like in the last like 5 years or 10 years about Arkansas, the Clintons and the drug trade and like the what is it with the because Clinton was the governor at the time in Arkansas. They did a movie with what's his name, Tom Cruise did a movie on it because now now everybody knows about it, so it's fact. So the Contra incident, where they were shipping drugs out of South America, and those shipments would bring drugs out to America, and then in exchange they would bring Contra people to train in South America to go to Iran to like do regime change, and this is what the CIA was doing, and it come out to be fact. Well, there was a journalist that was actually chasing this story, had the evidence, was writing it. The editor told him, "No, you can't edit. You can't publish that. No." His publisher was like, "Nah," and like literally he was like, "All right, I'm leaving this shit. I'm going to do it on my own." So he did, and he went to try to publish it. And this is before the internet, before chat rooms, Telegram, all this shit. So like he eventually was getting ready to publish, and he apparently was suicided somehow, mysteriously. That actually came out later on. There was some speculation on that, and that was part of that. There's documentaries on it, whatnot. I don't want to talk about it too much, but like you guys can look it up. People that are watching probably know what I'm talking about anyway. But more or less, like when I studied at Oxford for my my teaching credentials to be an English teacher, I had a journalist from Australia that I was studying with in Prague, and I was like, yeah, I want to write about this and that, and I wanted, publish a book, or at least like, do this. And he's like, dude, no one's going to publish that. I was like, well, what do you mean? Because I was a bit naive. I just got out of journalism school, and he was actually a journalist from Australia, and he was like, I'm done with journalism. I'm going into teaching English, and that I was going to teach English as a result, And he's like, yeah, you basically, the only way you're going to get that published is if you fictionalize it, you make it as a fictional story. Otherwise, no one will publish it, and you're going to get blacklisted. And I was like, whoa. And this is coming from a journalist, like someone that was actually working in the industry. So, and this is before Gonzalo Lira. This is before social media, before YouTube or CensorTube or all these different platforms. So now I'm here. I'm on. You guys are watching me, that sort of thing. Subscribers. We're talking about stuff right now that's controversial, and this is why this isn't on YouTube, CensorTube, for a reason, because I don't want to get demonetized, and I don't want to get shadow banned or deplatformed from. I've already been deplatformed once from Google, so I don't want to get deplatformed again. Yeah, is what it is. What else you want to add on that, or you want to go to something else?
I think we can move on to something. Actually, well, yeah, journalism in general. It's my father worked as a journalist, and he was telling me all of the same things that you were telling me. At some point, you will have like what was called editorial line, and the editorial line here basically means all topics that are off the rails, like prohibited. You cannot touch it. They specifically lay it out, like you can't go beyond this realm of reporting. If you try to go outside of this realm of these topics, then we won't publish it. And so we have like every country has this, where you have the mainstream fake journalists that don't actually do any journalism, or like their journalism restricts itself to very mundane reporting about mundane stuff. And then you have the real ones who are like struggling with literal Mossad, and they're like using specific OPSEC to protect themselves from Mossad and the likes, because they're like constantly being chased or spied upon, gang stalked. Yeah, it's that's some real shit. They get killed all the time.
Yeah,
there was an American guy. There was an American guy who came to Peru, like a few months ago, or like a year ago, and he was like reporting on all of the, like, this guy was like some sort of very well trained person, and everybody called him the Gringo, the Gringo, and he was basically exposing local elites in like the jungle regions of the country for like being in bed with like the drug traffic cartels and even like child exploitation rings in the capital. Certain streamer gangs, like people who do streaming, like they do gaming, they were involved with like um, child exploitation, and he was exposing all of this shit. And at some point, like he was walking down the street, and a group of people tried to kill him or rob him, and then he like punched one of those guys so hard that he killed him. So he killed like a guy from here, and then like they ruled that it was self-defense, but like then the judiciary continued persecuting him even though it was ruled that it was self-defense, and he's like unable to leave the country, because if he leaves the country, they'll take that as like the that he's like guilty. So yeah, and like he gets like he shows his texts, like his Instagram DMs or like WhatsApp DMs, and it's all like threats. It's all threats that are like, we're gonna kill you. Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, it's
yeah.
it's not. I when I studied in journalism in college as well. I had a columnist that was he was a writer for the Oregonian out of Portland, and he said that he's like, you know how you can tell when you're actually writing a solid story, is that the lawyers get called. The lawyer calls your editor and threatens to sue. He knows that's when you're actually writing something of newsworthy article. And he said, like, you know, like great journalists, they get threatened to get sued all the time. It's just one of those things. The guy recently talked about this from the what if files. Where is it? What is this thing I follow once in a while? I'll get it here in a moment. One second. Oh, here it is. That's what I'm looking for. It's the the Y files. Yeah, the guy that he was actually on Joe Rogan's show. He was talking about this. He's like, yeah, I've been threatened to get. He said that he got threatened to get sued a couple of times, and he's like, dude, the thing about this is it's like, you know, he's like, it's kind of beta to like threaten to sue somebody or like sending a demand letter. He's like, just do it. He's like, just do it. If you're gonna sue somebody, just sue them. You know what I mean? Don't be a beta about it and say, I'm going to threaten to sue you if you don't pull your content off or do something different. You know what I mean? Or he's just like, just totally beta behavior. There is another, it was Eye Patch McCain. You know what I'm talking about? The congressman.
Is this, yes, I know about him. Yeah. Yeah.
So he threatened to sue an influencer on social media. I forget the guy's name, but like same thing. He threatened to sue, Eye Patch McCain threatened to sue this guy. Because this influencer was talking about the Nancy Pelosi like stock market trades, and Eye Patch McCain I think has a track record of like 40% accuracy in the stock market. Like, I mean, these politicians are making like hundreds of millions of dollars in trades in the stock market, and their trading ratio is like 60s, 70s, 80 percentile, and like even the top like even some of the top hedge funds and top stock traders, including like Warren Buffett, don't even come anywhere near remotely close to this level of accuracy in trading. So, I mean, it's like, dude, seriously, why'd you guys go into politics? You should just went to work on Wall Street. You would have made a lot more money and a lot less bullshit, you know, been more obscure. But I mean,
They
more
have a
importantly,
team of people. Yeah, they have a team of people that like manage their accounts, but that team is like fed with privileged information, and so
of
they
course.
basically do the same thing that people in Wall Street do with a way higher resolution.
Yeah, the thing is, it's insider trading. It's actually in the definition under the SEC. I know because I worked in insurance, Series 6, Series 7. I worked in banking, Wall Street for a little bit, which is why I teach business studies and operations management and things of that nature at university as associate professor. But more or less, like I said, it is a violation of SEC. You can't do that. And I don't know why. And this is actually something that might be debated later on. And again, we're talking about the art of the grift, so to speak. So yeah, they may actually bar standing politicians from being able to actually invest in the stock market because of this. Anybody that has access to sensitive information, especially trade deals, because when you work in the State Department, or you work for the president, or you work for the State Department, or you work in Congress, you have privileged information dealing with trade deals, dealing with different types of geopolitical events. And I talk about this all the time in the podcast and Telegram that, obviously, where I know what's going on. I don't know at the level as the Department of State or people that work within alphabet agencies or people that are working in Congress who have privileged information coming from the alphabet agencies, from people like me, like analysts and professors and academics that know their shit. We're basically it's as if they're literally the Congress and Department of State, DOS, and obviously the presidency, the POTUS or whatever, these administration agencies and Congress has full access, like teams, like you're talking about, teams of people like me that are experts in their field, people that are in academia, people that are academics that write papers, that publish it, that send it to their committees, subcommittees in Congress and politics. And this is not just the United States, but all over the world. So they have full access, like their little think tank of analysts, of people that they can go to get privileged information that they can grift and make money off of. And it's literally taxpayer funded. So this poses an ethical issue in that regard. Is that ethical? You know what I mean? Like, you have access to it, but the general public doesn't have access to it. And neither does Wall Street. People on Wall Street, they don't have access to this stuff. They have to do their own research, and they have to read this. They have to read papers, Wall Street Journal and other types of like publications that become public record days or weeks or even months after this privileged information comes out. So they have access to it before.
They could argue privileged information is a relative term, because what does that really mean, in the sense that everybody can get information if they look for it hard enough, if they have the right connections. Street cleaner is not going to have the same information as some sort of high-end management guy. That high-end management guy will have access to information that is more useful. So, and by that same logic, they could say, well, you just happen to be like in the know of certain things, just like you are in the know when you invest in gold or when you invest in like GPU companies or whatever. It's like,
correct.
Yeah.
But at the same time, even the guys on Wall Street, because I knew a lot of the guys on Wall Street when I worked up in New York, they still don't have the access, the level of access as people in Congress and the think tanks and stuff. They don't have access
because they don't know the moves that are going to happen. These people know about deals that are going to happen in a week's time. In 2 weeks' time, they know about these deals. Yeah.
Like a tariff, for instance, like Trump issues a tariff. That's not released to the public within 24 to 48 hours after he makes the decision. That stuff is private. It's need to know, and it's government, like I said, privileged information until it's released to the public. So the fact that they're talking about it is behind closed doors, where they're dealing with trade deals and geopolitical issues with this and economics. But for some reason, people that are connected, and I don't want to do a mega bash or anything like that, or Orange Man bash or anything, because we're already kind of hitting that right now with the slam pig that we're talking about from the beginning of the art of the grift. But it is kind of interesting that, like, before the tariff announcement came through, that there were individuals that were connected to Orange Man that apparently made lots of money from that particular policy change. So go figure. It is a rigged game. It's a rigged game, and the corruption is no longer in Wall Street or in the special interests. The corruption is now at the government level. So even
I think he was in, and this is not to bash on him. This is just something that happened. Did you see that clip with the head of BlackRock who went to the White House and he was like hugging Trump?
Oh no, that guy is he's an influencer. He's actually a conservative commentator from Fox News contributor. Yeah, that guy is he's a small hat. he's a Zionist Republican. I forget his name. We can look him up real quick. I have listened to him. I think it's I know he's on Sirius Satellite Radio too on the Fox News channel. Let me look him up real quick. Fox News. He's like Rush Limbaugh, but a small hat. 1 second. Fox News radio influencer. Who the hell is this guy? Levine, I think is his name.
I'm not sure, actually.
No, his last name's Levine, but I don't remember his first name. I know who he is. I know his last name's Levine. It's a nice
like
small.
Levine hugs Trump at the White House. You can put it, find it.
Yeah, his last name's Levine. He's
he was saying like this guy. He was like pointing to Trump, and he was saying like this guy loves Israel. He loves us.
Yeah, his name's Mark Levine. He's, like I said, he's a Fox News guy. I'll bring him up real quick.
Yeah, I confused him with that, like, I think Larry Pinkman guy. Larry Fink was like the head of BlackRock for a second.
Yeah, Larry Fink is a different guy altogether. That's him, Mark Levine. I knew his last name. I haven't listened to him a little bit. I just don't like him. I just think he's one of these racist, like bigoted, basically small hats. That's a pro-Zionist and basically hates everybody that isn't white boy or small hat special Zionist club. So not a guy I really would really want to have a guy I wouldn't want to have a beer with or anything like that, or a guy I wouldn't want to hang out with. You know what I mean? That type. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not necessarily a mega guy. I'm not a mega guy, but like I do like some Trump policies. I was a Republican up until the election and the previous election, and then I joined the Libertarian Party. So now I'm a Libertarian. So yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, you're in the same party as what's his name? What's the guy? Oh, yeah. What's the guy that put in J.D. Vance? I forgot his name. Like the head of Palantir. What's his name again? Peter Thiel. You're in the same party as Peter Thiel. How does that
Yeah, Peter Thiel. Yeah. He's the one that they talked about with Joe Rogan. I guess he's the one that's funding Joe Rogan. Apparently, he's his handler.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. But actually, he's part of the PayPal mafia. I do have a documentary that talks about this. It's like 1.5 hour long documentary about who funds Joe Rogan. We can play it one time in the coffee series. Like, how do you call it? Like the premium space?
Yeah, and locals. You could throw it up on there if you want. You could throw it on Telegram too, on the Consolidator Legacy group. For those that are in that everybody that's following probably is in Legacy group already anyway. But yeah, you could throw it in there for the people to watch. Apparently there was a recent podcast on Joe Rogan, and that comedian guy he's been on Tucker Carlson, and he's a conservative comedian influencer. He's a younger guy. He's younger than me. I think he's your age. I forget. He's a good old boy. He's got the mullet and everything. He's funny as hell. I actually like him. And he was just poking at Joe Rogan, trying to get him to talk about all kinds of stuff. And Joe Rogan was deflecting and diverting and like all this. And he was like, okay, yeah, this guy's compromised. He was like, dude, this, and the narrative was that basically Joe Rogan Peter Thiel is like, he doesn't want to piss him off or something. I don't think it's even that. I think it's a simple fact that he's married to a small hat. So he doesn't want to like stir this pot, kind of like Alex Jones, who was also previously married to a small hat. He does. They
don't all like this, like very important people like Alex Jones or Joe Rogan. Alex Jones is basically like anti-mainstream, but he's like controlled anti-mainstream. It's like everything the mainstream tells you, it's false. Let me tell you about how it's the opposite. And also, you see, that shooting didn't happen. I think it was Charlottesville. And then he's like, actually, it did happen. I was wrong, and I apologize. And the Jews, they are our friends.
Yeah. I mean, To be honest,
people come into his show and like try to even raise the Israel question or like the Jewish.
Yeah, he'll divert it, and there was. I think you pointed out there's some documentaries. There's someone that did the analysis. That one guy that you're talking about, the Schizo Hour, the Odyssey show, where it was talking about like 70% of the people that came on his show were either small hats or people that are connected to small hats.
It was 55% of the, or 60% of the guests to Joe Rogan were small hats.
Yeah. And just like Jordan Peterson, like he was always a sellout. I mean, he's Canadian, so I mean, it is what it is. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Canadians, but you know, they're pretty liberal, man, pretty progressive up there. Even the conservatives are pretty progressive and lefty leaning. But Jordan Peterson, I wouldn't say he's fake or anything. It's just he's not a spokesperson for the conservative right, or at least the libertarian right, or people that are anti or anon type people or MGTOW. He's a fucking grifter, dude. Just straight up, straight down. Yeah, grifting. I'm not going to call Alex Jones a grifter, but he does sell a lot of vitamins that are like that you can buy at like, you know, any supplement store or Amazon for literally a fraction of the price, and his vitamins aren't any different than theirs because he gets them from the same manufacturer. So he's just charging a premium. So I'm not saying he's a grifter, but I mean, yeah, it's like, I'm not saying it's aliens. I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens. So I'm not saying.
Brain Force, right? Brain Force.
Yeah, $50 a bottle for something that you can get on Amazon for about like $5-10. I'm not saying he's a grifter, but he's a grifter. You know, instead of I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens. You know, that's the show today is about the art of the grift. So, I mean, fuck, even Trump's a grifter, man. The guy is literally like I'm not saying I don't want to be a mega basher, but like, yeah, like every business he's ran, he ran into the fucking ground. And the same thing with Elon Musk. Every business he's ran, it was started by someone else, Peter Thiel being one of the companies with PayPal. And he's like, I'm the founder, kind of like Kroc of like McDonald's. Yeah, Kroc's a different story. I don't think he's a grifter at all. But like Musk, yeah, dude, definitely. Like he's got some grifting things to him. Like, you know, taking credit for whatever the fuck he does. But like the thing about Musk, we bashed him a little bit too. The fact that like every business he's run, like his businesses were about to go bankrupt in 2009 after the 2008 crash. Like, and the thing is that he miraculously got a big fucking government grant and to bail him out. Otherwise his businesses would have failed. They would have went bankrupt. And what would have happened? Fire sale. They would have sold all the technologies and patents and everything that he had in his name through the company to the highest bidder, which means that like Japanese companies, Chinese companies, German companies could just buy these through auction, and like the creditors would just sell it, just like fuck it, sell everything. And it posed a national security issue. So they were like, nope, not going to happen. So now he's a government goy. He's actually one of the highest paid government contractors in the world of all time, higher than Halliburton and Penis Cheney, of Halliburton, Blackhawk, any of these places. He's like literally the grifter of grifters. He is, I think he's worth $500 billion now. He's now the richest. He's again the richest man in the world, and he's worth $500 billion. I think he's hit $500 billion, and that's all. By the way, that's all U.S. taxpayer money. So that's not his money. He lives in a very meager, like a very humble home, and he lives like very meagerly, very humble, kind of like Warren Buffett. But the difference between Warren Buffett and Elon Musk is that Warren Buffett actually has money. He just chooses to live that way. I think Elon Musk realizes that he is a government goy, and he's a welfare king. He's an African American, so I mean it is what it is. But yeah, literally every one of his businesses failed, and the government bailed him out. They're not even very profitable business. From what they said, I'm an operation. I teach this at university, operations management and strategy, business strategy. And I kind of know a little bit of what I'm talking about, but just doing the analysis of him during my PhD study, case studies, I was like, yeah, these companies are bullshit. They're not profitable. Even like the Tesla, for instance, from what I heard, Scotty, he's an influencer that goes over a lot of automotive stuff. I'm sure a lot of you guys that are on the YouTubes, you guys have seen him. Lupiters watches him quite a bit as well. he said these Tesla vehicles are garbage. He said they're just poorly put together. It's just all afterthoughts. Yeah.
As a well-known, they have to recall. They have had to recall many times. And the latest Cybertruck was the best example of it. It just fell apart.
I mean, when you're an automotive company, and your automotive company is known as a fucking tech company or as an energy company and not a fucking automotive company, I think you're in the wrong business. Just saying, from a business operations or like, you know, a business strategy perspective.
No, dude, I think he's in the right business, because look, man, if I'm the tech man, if I'm like the new Nikola Tesla, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I have all of this aura to me, then I can just do whatever. I can do a flamethrower company, and when he did the flamethrower thing, like it sold like hot bread really quickly.
Yeah.
He's the biggest grifter in the world.
The art of the grift, man. The art of the grift. It really is. Like I said, when I talk to, I don't want to disclose who this individual is that I met and on Wall Street. I happened to drive him from the country club to his penthouse in an undisclosed location in Midtown. And literally, I had a long conversation. Because we had to drive from Westchester to down to the boroughs to the Manhattan. And I was just like, I got to the point. I was like, dude, you know, I think a lot of these businesses are bullshit. And he's like, yeah, you know, I get that. I was like, yeah, they're on the brink of collapse. I mean, it's like the you know, the amount of derivatives market and the fact that like a lot of these companies are on borrowed time. They have bloated budgets and like huge amounts of deficits, and like it's just literally short, you know, shell companies and all this bullshit. And he's like, yeah, the end of the story, he's just like, you know, basically, yeah, I know a lot of these companies are held together with toothpicks and bubble gum, but you know, it is what it is. We're traders. This is what we fucking do. We just trade money. We trade money. We trade stocks. We trade, you know, whatever derivatives, and we make profit off of it. Don't give a fuck about the company if it fails or goes this way or that way or whatever. It's all fugazi at the end of the day. I was like, good point. Yeah. So, yeah, that is what it is. And that's the grift. We're coming to 52 minutes on this podcast, but I think it was a good one. At least we got some interesting stuff out. And this is stuff that we've already covered before on previous podcasts, but we got the new art of the grift going on now. And I don't mind calling the grifters out, man. You know what I mean? You know, and it's like the podcast that Mad Max and I did, the two broke guys talking about the economy. I thought that was fucking hilarious. That came up with that title.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Anything else you want to cover, or are we pretty much done for the day?
I think we're done for the day, but we can talk next another podcast about current AI. This is the greatest grift that has ever existed in human history.
Yeah.
It's the AI grift. The AI grift.
Yeah. We're the first ones to talk about that. If you guys, I might put a link in the description, but you guys can go through the different videos, and we talked about this with the AI bubble, or we called it the Gilded Digital Age bust. And Swin and I were on there with Mad Max and Lupiter, and we were talking about that then. That was like a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. It was on Rumble, and then I reposted it on CensorTube or YouTube. But it's a good video. I think it got a lot of views, 1,000 on Rumble, and I think it's pushing 100 now on CensorTube. And as the channel grows, thanks guys for subscribing, liking, and holding on to our little conversation here. But yeah, you guys push it out, man. You guys like get the algorithm going, and you know, more people watch the content. But we were the first ones to call the AI bubble. We were the first ones to call it. At least I was, you know. And then we all kind of put our analysis and talked about it. And
I'm just gonna say this before we close.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that it's seen as a bubble for those that are thinking about this. They're framing it in the way of like this company's making money, but I don't think it's an operation to make money at all.
No, it's not. It's a grift.
I think it's something else than a grift.
Yeah,
it's very similar to the .com situation.
Oh no, it's exactly the same as .com. Same as .com. Yeah.
Many people think .com was some sort of bubble, but if you really think about it, the amount of capital that went in and the amount of like unmeasured uh, like deployment of this technology, people really have to consider the possibility of it having been a government deployment of infrastructure done through private companies masquerading as like business expenses or like investments. Like basically, the government deploys infrastructure connecting every single home with fiber optic or like fast internet connection in the whole country. They have like America Online program, all of this. What is the ultimate result of that in the 2020s? People have surveilled houses with microphone access, with camera access to record all of their words, anything that they say. If they happen to trigger the wrong red flag, they could be seized, like we are seeing in the United Kingdom and Germany.
It's about wrong speak, 1984 wrong speak. Yeah.
A microphone in every home. And most people, what are they using? They're using Windows, they're using Mac OS, and anything that they say could be just sent to the cloud and being scanned by an AI.
Yeah.
And that's.
I mean, like.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like what you're saying about a mic in every phone. I mean, or every home. People willingly put it in there, put these things in their home, like such as the Amazon dot thing. You know, the little, I forget what it was called. I have I have a couple of those, and then they're not plugged in. I'm not using them because I don't want people listening to my shit. But there's that. There's the Google has it as well. I forget what they call it. Google Alexa, and I think the other one is. Anybody that has their audio on, they just went off 100%. Alexa, is the CIA listening to my conversation? Sorry guys that you're watching. That sort of thing. Yeah. And Amazon has their own, and these are in a lot of homes. They've done many documentaries, and there's been a lot of influencers talking about it. And I think even Wi-Files he talked about it as well. Listening device. I mean, these are things that you guys are personally putting in your homes that they're listening devices by the company, and they pretty much tell you that they use this information, that your conversations, to sell you products. And I teach this class as well in digital marketing. For my students, it's a little advanced, but my master's program students, definitely for the master's in digital marketing, I'm going to get more into this and like how we use information from analytics and data and stuff like this, websites you visit, communication through your emails and stuff, so we can sell you shit. That's part of it, but that goes under the corporate social responsibility as well. But more or less, like, I digress. The thing is these devices are you personally put these in willingly, just like Facebook with Zuckerberg. When he invented it, originally it was just a hookup site for. It was like the early stages of Bumble. This is the .com era as well. It was the early stages of Bumble. What's the other one? Fuck, I can't remember these damn websites, these hookup sites that we talked about in Big Towel. But anyway, nonetheless, that's originally what it was. It was a college.
Okay, Cupid. Okay, Cupid.
Oh yeah, all that stuff. Like it basically was a hookup site for people in college, and then it became an information site for government, agencies, and then it became a marketing website for third-party vendors, and then eventually went into digital marketing and so on and so forth. So this is what it is, man. Any platform or any service that is free, like Google, like any of these things, even SensorTube, that you guys aren't watching it on SensorTube right now, but any of these platforms that you're watching free content, you're paying through some way or the other. You're either going to have to sit through ads, you're going to have to pay for premium, or literally they're going to take your information and sell it to a third party. They have to abide by, obviously corporate social responsibility, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. So I did a case study in the book. If you guys read, Unleash Your Inner Sigma, That's in locals channel. It's free for local subscribers. Like I said, if you sign up now, it's Rumble 3 gets you $3 off first month's membership, but you get to read the book for free. And I put that as a case study in their corporate social responsibility. It is what it is. Facebook has already been fined in EU and Google and a lot of these. And there was a recent case about this happening in Europe because they're the only ones that seem to be really strictly enforcing the corporate social responsibility with people's information and privacy. So it is what it is. It ain't what it ain't.
Well, Europe they say that they are doing that while at the same time demanding that every single VPN company that is based in the European Union must log the IP addresses of all of their clients.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's a double-edged sword at this point. It's a double-edged sword in Europe with the social responsibility or the corporate social responsibility.
At the end of the day, what is it? It's the Eye of Sauron. What does it? Yeah, you put on the sphere that lets you see everything. This like crystal sphere, and you can see this district in this region of the country has very high. How do you call it? They have a high opposition. They have a high opposition or high dissident rate. They have a high dissident rate, and we know it's like a red hot area, and we kind of have to like put more effort in here. And they can manage population in the sense that like you were saying, like, oh well, they can sell you stuff. Yes, they can do that 100%. They can also see what population center in what region of the country at any given moment has anti-state and pro-state leanings, how they feel towards the state at any given point. So it's like a big eye of Sauron.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it is what it is. This is the future. No privacy. You will own nothing. You'll eat the bugs. And that's what I was saying with
built in the infrastructure. All of that is built in the infrastructure
right.
of .com that was deployed in their .com. And now we're living through another gigantic infrastructure deployment, which is the AI bubble, quote unquote, and the implications are going to be crazy.
100%. And like I said, I was telling a lot of my students at the business school, basically, we're going from a demand or a supply and demand economy or a product-based economy to a service-based economy, like the United States, who spearheaded it. Because the United States is the largest economy in the world, industrialized, with the innovation, AI, the fourth industrial revolution that we talked about previously, that the current lean academia we're talking about. But more or less, I said, we're going to a service-based economy where you own nothing and you eat the bugs. And we've seen this with, with Tesla, who kind of pushed it out. When you first bought a Tesla, you couldn't own it. Like apparently you have to like return it, and then they would give you a new vehicle in its place. And the whole thing with Toyota and Tesla also, you have to pay certain premium packages in addition to buying the car to access certain features within the vehicle. And that's a service-based type product. And eventually...
Now that I think about it, it's like one of the big reasons why I think this wasn't done in America, like the continuation of the industrial age, they shipped it off to China. I think the reason, just beyond profits, is also because, look, this expansion, if you want to make it so it doesn't hurt the environment, you need a gigantic amount of regulation to make sure that like nothing is being like polluted, right? And even then, like in the sense that it'll have like the contamination, the environmental destruction will have been so much that Americans won't have tolerated it. But in China, they don't give a fuck. I think many towns, many cities in China have been destroyed environmentally just to facilitate all of this.
100%. I mean, the thing is it's literally, like I said, with the service-based economy, this is the reason why you're getting the 50-year mortgages. We talked about this in a previous podcast. And more or less, like when I worked in banking, I worked in auto finance and subprime lending. And the thing is people were buying these used vehicles, like 10-year-old vehicles, and they were getting like the loan that I was offering or that I was providing was equivalent to if they went and got a brand new vehicle. They could have got a similar deal, but their credit was so shitty that they literally had to buy a used car at a new car price when we did the financing. And I mean, I had clients that literally were like, they would make a payment, miss a payment, make a payment, miss a payment, and you couldn't repo it. I mean, now they probably could repo it, but it's not worth our time to repo the vehicle because the amount of like money that we have invested in it, it's not worth it to repo it. You know what I mean? So we're literally like, okay, dude, I'll furlough it another month. Get you caught up, whatever. I'm going to add some interest rate on it. If you want to refinance, we can put a different interest rate, maybe give you a little bit of money. People would call and be like, dude, I need a line of credit. Can I pull some equity out of my vehicle? I'm like, there's no fucking equity in the vehicle. But if you want, I can extend your payment, give you $100 to pay whatever. And then you'll make the payment next month when you get paid. And the people were doing this. So I had people literally that would sign up for a 3 or 5 year loan. And I'm calling them 5-6 years later, and they're still paying the fucking car off because I furloughed the payment, and I've done all kinds of stuff and then not trickery, but like voodoo wizard shit with the financing. And it's not me. It's like I was an account manager for the individual who I was monitoring. I was in charge. I was like, $30 million under management. So I had a lot of different clients and different things going on. And I'm like, dude, this guy will never pay this fucking car off. And I was going to my manager and I was like, dude, how can you do this to people? I went to my manager. I was like, dude, how can you do this to people? He's like, dude, this is the fucking art of the grift. This is how we make money. We're bankers. We're not fucking in this to, it's philanthropy. I was like, oh man, I'm in the wrong business. So I was like, fuck it. I'm done. This is during 08 crisis, all this shit. I'm like, I'm going to go into teaching. And that's why I'm in teaching now for the last 16, 17 years. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do banking, dude. I couldn't do the shit. It was just, I had a moral compass and I'm like, yeah, I can't do this. So that's how it is. And like I said, with the vehicles, like I said, with the lending, they're doing 7 and 10 year notes on vehicles. And I'm like, dude, literally you are putting people in economic bondage. A 50-year mortgage is economic bondage. That home you will never get the equity out of that home. Never. And the same thing with the auto loan. You'll never get the equity back. By the time you paid off the vehicles, you basically lease the vehicle. Or like when you pay off the home, it's the same thing if you just rented a fucking apartment. Like I rent. I don't own a home. I don't ever see the point in owning a home because of all the hidden costs and the maintenance and all the bullshit and the fact that like if my neighbors are douchebags or if like my neighborhood goes to shit within 10 years, I'm stuck and I've lost all the equity I put in that home because I can't sell it. Go look at Detroit, go look at Camden, New Jersey, go look at Philadelphia, even in Europe or different places. If you get into a really bad neighborhood, it may have been a good deal at the time, but when that neighborhood goes to shit, and they usually go to shit within 10 to 20 years, sometimes 30 years. And if you have a home that you just paid off in a shit area where there's no jobs, or say like, let's say for instance, heaven forbid, you were working as a good goy for the local manufacturer, and that manufacturer decides to offshore, or they decide that company goes out of business and they close shop, and that's the only thing bringing revenue to that city or to that area where you own your home. What do you think happens to your home at that point? You're fucked. Like it's gone. You can't sell your home. That's what happened to Detroit. That's what happened to all these Rust Belt homes in the upper Midwest, where like now it's actually cheaper to live in Ohio, parts of Western Pennsylvania, these Rust Belt communities, than it is to live where I'm living right now in Eastern Europe.
What do you mean you can't sell it? You can always sell it to some Indian dude.
Nah, maybe, but the Indians aren't going there because the Indians all work in IT, so they're not going to be buying a fucking house in a Draculafied area unless they're a refugee or something. And if they're a refugee, the house has been taken from you by the government and given it to them. So no, it's not a good deal. I'm not giving financial advice on this, but I'm just telling you, like, if you're a millennial, if you're a Zoomer, X-Gen, usually you might have a better chance of like, some equity, and you may be able to pull some money out and do something with it. But if you're getting in a home right now as a Zoomer or a millennial, you're better off renting, bro. Don't worry about it. Just put your money in like other assets like gold, silver, maybe put money in your education, like get some trade experience, learn something, like that would be a better investment than putting into a fucking 50-year mortgage or a car at this point. Even Cappy from what's his name? Cappy from Asshole Consulting talks about this all the time too. He owns 2 homes, by the way. He owns a home up in, I think he lives in North Dakota, and he's got a home in Vegas. But he's the exception to the rule. And he was a banker like me. We both work in banking at the same time. He worked with some people that I think we probably know the same people, because he worked at Wells Fargo and subprime. Or he worked, I don't know what kind of lending. I don't know if he was in subprime or not, but we know the same people. Anyway, long story short, unless you're willing to live in the community for 50 years or 100 years or until you die, and you're going to live in that home forever, then it's a good deal. If you got a job, security, you're going to be at that job for a long time, and you're going to retire in that place, then it's a good deal. Same thing with a vehicle. If you're going to buy a truck and you're like, you know what, this is going to be the only truck I'm going to own, as long as it doesn't get totaled or wrecked or whatever, even if you need to rebuild the engine or put a tranny or whatever, not a big deal. Take a 10-year loan on it. Who cares? If you get a low enough interest rate at like 1%, 2%, you can make extra payments to pay it off early if you need to. But yeah, more or less, like, it is what it is. That's the only way I look at it. And that's coming from someone that works in business operations, or at least teaches business operations, finance and things of that nature. And I've worked in banking before. You typing? I hear you typing. You're typing.
Oh, sorry about that. But
no, it's all good.
I think I think that's true. Well, do you have anything else to say?
No, I was just going on a rant, like I said, about the 50-year mortgages we talked about and all that in the previous podcast.
Like it's a giant scam. Anybody that falls for that, I don't know what to tell you, but you're better off renting.
It's lease to own. That's the new grift. Yeah. The new grift, like I said, just coming to a conclusion of what we're talking about with the grift, the art of the grift, is that a 50-year mortgage, a 10-year bank note on a fucking car, new or used, is literally leasing to own. So that's the new.
It's a scam. A grift is a scam. Like you don't get the value out of it. It's either attached to a personality, so the personality glitters. It glitters. It's so shiny, and then I want to buy whatever from them. And then you have this dream, right? The dream that you could, like your kids, they could own a home. Maybe your kids could own a home if you put in like the 50-year-old mortgage. It's gonna be cheaper to pay it off because the monthly payments are gonna be less. So yeah, come in, pay your house. I don't know how much interest that's gonna be in total. How much interest do you think that's gonna be in total? 40%?
It depends on the interest rate, depends on like how, because usually when you get into a loan, it being a mortgage or an auto loan, you're paying most of the interest up front. You're paying it's front end. So you're paying most of the interest in the front part. And then as you pay it off over time, then you basically is just paying strictly principal. It's just how it's structured. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're paying all on a 50-year mortgage, you're paying most of the interest in the first 10 to 15 years of the loan. So
yeah,
it's not worth it. You might as well just rent, and then any extra money put into crypto, gold, silver, some other investment tool, or just put it in education. I mean, literally, they can't take your fucking degree. They can't take your education. You can take a loan on an education, not a private loan, but like a federal backed loan or some type, or work your way through school. They can never take your education and your training. And that training is what you use in order to make money. And that money is what you use in order to buy things and to pay for 50-year mortgages and cars. But me personally, I sold.
Your kids could have like a home in 50 years. So like, take it.
No. Like I said, when I was podcasting before I came back to Georgia, I had a brand new car. I had a loan on it. It was paid off. I almost paid off. I went ahead and sold it and got the equity out of it. And I was like, no, I don't need a car here. And I don't need a car here. And everybody has a car and there's nowhere to park and it's just fucking horrible. Traffic's insane. I was like, it's easier to take public transport. I can walk. The weather's pretty mild, dude. They don't have extreme winters or extreme summers. So it's easy to walk everywhere. The sidewalk's kind of fucked up, but like, other than that, man, I'm in an urban environment. So it's not that big a deal. It's safe to walk at night during the day. Might have an occasional wild dog running around or something, but they're usually pretty chill. I mean, it's what's the point? That's all I'm saying. If you live in a small town, like in the Midwest, like eventually if I go back to the States, I'll go teach at a small college in the Midwest, and I'll just have an e-bike. I won't even have a car. I'll have an e-bike and I'll just ride to and from the workplace. And if I need a car, I'll rent a car. That's the same here. If I need a car here, I'll fucking rent one, or I'll just pay a taxi. It's not that big a deal. Save all that money and shit and equity and like lost revenue and interest. And what's the point? Same thing with a home. If I'm going to buy a home, I'd rather buy a home in a place where I plan on living there for 20, 30 years. Then I can get my money's worth out of it. Because most homes are built to last 30 to 50 years max. So
yeah, no, with today's houses, it's we're lucky if you get 15 years, but in America at least. Well, in any case, I think we could finish it here.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up. Thanks, Swen. Thanks, guys, for joining in. Those that stayed with us, like the whole grift. Just kidding. The whole podcast. Like, subscribe, definitely comment and share with friends. And I'll see you again when I do another podcast. I'm going to do these more regularly if I can. But yeah, take care. Good night.